2025 gave us plenty of big hits, loud hype, and glowing reviews, but not every praised movie actually deserved the love. Some films were called masterpieces, dominated social media, and crushed the box office, yet left a lot of us wondering what everyone else was seeing. Today we're cutting through the buzz and looking at the 10 most overrated movies of 2025. The films that got endless praise but didn't quite live up to it. Let's get into it. So, the 10th most overrated movie of 2025 was How to Train Your Dragon. The animated How to Train Your Dragon is a genuinely fantastic film. The live-action remake, however, is essentially the same story beat for beat, less a reimagining and more a cinematic case of déjà vu. It looks great, but it also feels completely unnecessary. Audiences and even many critics didn't seem to mind. The movie became a huge hit, earned glowing reviews, not from me, and currently boasts a 97% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes. Apparently, that iconic dragon score works just as well when it's backing a polished remake of the original. And the 9th most overrated movie of 2025 was Frankenstein. Speaking of Oscar Isaac-led letdowns, Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein really disappointed me. Visually, it's stunning, easily one of the best-looking Netflix releases, and it opens strong with Jacob Elordi's ferocious monster tearing through sailors in the Arctic. But once Oscar Isaac's Victor starts recounting his story, the film steadily loses momentum. Much like Victor himself, my excitement fades after the creation comes to life. For a story about defying death, Del Toro's Frankenstein feels strangely sluggish, and yet you wouldn't guess that from the reaction. Letterboxd has it as the 3rd highest rated film of his career, ranking above Pacific Rim, The Shape of Water, and both Hellboy films. On number 8, we have a Minecraft movie. In the comments below. And on number 7, we have Wake Up Dead Man, a Knives Out mystery. I know I keep complaining about Netflix's latest release, but it really earns it. Beyond being far too long, predictable, and oddly lifeless, with Daniel Craig looking visibly uninterested, the film also completely wastes its stacked cast. It feels like the celebrities were assembled before the story was, leaving Rian Johnson to juggle a dozen lead roles with little for most of them to do. If you're watching for actors like Thomas Hayden Church, Mila Kunis, Andrew Scott, Kaylee Spaney, or Kerry Washington, don't bother. They're barely used. And the ones with more screen time mostly spend it talking about murder as casually as people discuss their weekend hobbies.
Wix's murder.
And the 6th most overrated movie of 2025 was The Fantastic Four: First Steps. On the whole, I'd still give The Fantastic Four: First Steps a very cautious recommendation. That said, the backlash to my mostly positive review was intense, simply because I dared to call it mildly disappointing and admit it didn't match my ideal vision of the Fantastic Four. Personally, I thought Thunderbolts was the far stronger MCU entry of 2025. But judging by the reviews and box office numbers, that opinion clearly puts me in the minority. And the 5th movie was Materialists. Maybe my expectations were simply too high for Celine Song's sophomore feature, especially since Past Lives remains one of my favorite films of the decade. Like that earlier movie, Materialists centers on an unconventional love triangle, but despite its strong cast and polished presentation, the film never fully commits to what it wants to be, torn between a light, bubbly romantic comedy and a darker cautionary tale about reducing love to a transaction. Those two approaches never quite blend for me. Audiences, however, felt very differently. Materialists grossed over $100 million worldwide, becoming one of the rare international art house hits of 2025. And that's genuinely encouraging. I admire Song and hope that success allows her to keep making the films she wants to make, even if this one didn't resonate with me the way Past Lives did. And the 4th most overrated movie of 2025 was J. Kelly. If I had to sum up J. Kelly in a single word, it would be okay. Nothing in the movie is actively bad, but nothing stands out either. The acting works, the story functions, the visuals look good enough, and the whole thing passes by pleasantly without leaving much of an impression. It leans on the natural charm of George Clooney and Adam Sandler to tell a very well-worn story about the cost of choosing fame over family, an irony that isn't lost when it's being delivered by two immensely wealthy movie stars. What genuinely confuses me is the critical reaction. Many reviews framed Jay Kelly as some profound reflection on creativity and domestic life, and I still can't quite see it. Maybe I will someday, especially if the film continues on its seemingly inevitable path toward multiple Oscar nominations.
Jay Kelly.
And on number 3, we have Sentimental Value. One reason Jay Kelly doesn't feel especially original is that it shared the festival circuit with another even more acclaimed film exploring the same ideas. In Joachim Trier's Sentimental Value, an aging director, Stellan Skarsgård, tries to reconnect with his estranged daughter, Renate Reinsve, now a successful actress, by turning their family's painful past into a film. It asks the familiar questions about whether art can coexist with family life and whether the damage caused along the way was ever worth it. Sentimental Value isn't bad, but I'm surprised by just how strong the reaction has been. And if you loved it but haven't seen The Worst Person in the World from the same director and star, you should definitely fix that. On number 2, we have 28 Years Later. 28 Days Later is a genuine horror landmark that terrified me on first viewing and still stands as one of the best films of the century, never needing a sequel. That's what makes 28 Years Later so disappointing. While the performances are strong, especially Ralph Fiennes and Jodie Comer, and the shift toward a more emotional, family-focused story is at least interesting, the new portrayal of the infected completely misses the mark. They're predictable, awkward-looking, and nowhere near as frightening as before. If Boyle and Garland wanted to move away from horror, I just wish they'd done it with a different property. And the last most overrated movie of 2025 was Hamnet. Hamnet features powerful performances from Jessie Buckley and Paul Mescal and builds to a genuinely striking ending, which likely explains much of the film's overwhelming praise. Outside of that finale, though, I found much of the movie elegant, well-acted, and a bit dry. Director Chloe Zhao offers surprisingly little insight into the relationship between Agnes and William Shakespeare, or into how personal tragedy was transformed into enduring art. Instead, we get 2 excellent performances and Zhao's impressive staging of Hamlet. That's enough to make Hamnet a good film, but after 2 viewings, I'm still not convinced it's a great one. So which of these movies do you think is the most overrated? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos like this.